Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is expanding. That means endlessness is getting bigger. That makes no sense.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Consistently Inconsistent right here on JG's Lounge. We got a repeat guest. This is the weirdest thing. But first off, let's I'm Jukebox Ginger, JG, Juke if you're the guy below me. And this is another episode of Consistently Inconsistent. Have they been consistent? No, but that's kind of the whole point of the show. So let's just keep this rolling. Evolution, man, how you been?
I've been tired. I've been very all over the place, crazy. But I've been getting through it. Still busy as ever. Got a lot planned, got a lot I'm working on, and still wrapping up some things. Had a couple hiccups here and there.
Right.
But looking forward to finally getting those things completed here in the next couple of days, and looking forward to getting on to the next.
Well, and your work schedule's been all over, like totally flopped, so that's kind of thrown you for a curve.
Yeah, I got mollywopped for sure from all different directions, man. But I'm adjusting to it, and
good.
Not there yet, but I'm adjusting to it.
Right on, man. Right on, man. And you know what? We had such a good time with our guests last time. We brought him back for another round. Rafiki, how you doing, man?
Thanks, man. I'm Brofiki. I'm glad to be here, supporting JG's network. Juke Evolution, thanks for having me again.
Hey,
I'm
man,
excited.
always.
So much fun with you guys last time, and it just opened up like a flood of just happiness. And I'm like, man, this is great. So thanks for doing this and hosting
it. Absolutely. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, man.
Or part of it.
You know, and we've got our own show that's kind of been on hiatus. It's not really gone. It's just kind of been, I don't know. We're dabbling so many things now. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
We definitely did. We took a break. We normally interview musicians and we talk about their story and up and coming stories as how like music influenced them, like what music they listened to growing up. And
right.
It was just such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
Yeah. And you know, it's not gone. It's just kind of, like I said, hiatus. I wouldn't say it's gone. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we've gone to bigger pictures.
We're on a bigger scale
musicians.
now. We're talking about like quantum enlightenment and type, and like, these idioms and just like so many other things that are more relevant and relative right now.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. And next to you is the lovely Talia. Talia, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm wonderful.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. You'll kind of get the hang of it as we get going. But who started off last time? Was that you, Evolution, or was it me?
I don't remember.
Evolution started last time.
He did?
Yes.
So it's you, Juke. So we'll go.
As I was saying, I started last time.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll do what Brofiki said. We'll just kind of go clockwise like this. Sound good?
Sweet.
All right. Okay. So first one I have is Rome wasn't built in a day. And when I picked this, I picked it with the mindset behind it of kind of the concept of JG's Lounge. You jump feet running, but you can't just expect it to be a full sponsored network running on everybody's TV screen overnight. It takes time. We have plenty of shows and quality content invested in this. We've done so much now that it's just a matter of hitting the right sponsor, but it's taken time to get to that point. I've learned a lot of lessons over time, and that's definitely how that resonates with me. What do you guys think?
I think that's actually right on point. It was great. When you were saying Rome wasn't built in a day and comparing it to JG's Lounge, I'm thinking more of like, but it was kind of built in a year. In my case,
sorry.
I mean, I went from absolutely nothing, not knowing anything about podcasts, to just exploding from being involved with JG's Lounge, and in a year's time, I've done so much. I completely lost count of all the things that I've been involved with. Though I do keep a nice little record book that keeps me understanding why I'm so exhausted.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, definitely. In my opinion, you got to start somewhere if you have a great idea, or even if it's a small idea. Sometimes it will take planning and strategic effort to make that happen, depending on what it is. It's not going to happen overnight. Kind of like what I get out of Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes work. It takes maybe some drawbacks and failures before you actually get to your um, whatever it is you're trying to build.
Right.
So that's kind of what I got.
100%. Hey, this is the first time you and I like 100% agreed on it. Like you didn't twist it at all, man. That's great.
No, I kind of elaborated on it this time.
Elaborated.
Yeah.
Bro Fiki, what do you think, man? What do you think of Rome wasn't built in a day?
I think it goes to say like the appreciation for like the time it took to make something like as impactful as Rome. I understand that the saying it's not necessarily in reference to Rome, it's the idea like the Colosseum, right? It took so long to make it, but it's more so what it's represented in history throughout all of time of
Right.
how magnificent something is. And it's kind of, you think about Thanksgiving dinner, right? Like you can't, I mean, most people could do that in a day, but it takes a lot longer, and preparation and planning and a lot of thought and effort and a lot of trials and errors, a lot of failures led, to Rome being what it is, and having the Roman Empire be so significant. Even today, ironically, many people reference it, and that's why TikTok did its whole spiel on it. But I think it goes to say like Rome wasn't built in a day means it's okay to have patience. It's okay to have failures. It's okay to have small wins and small successes, like in small battles, but not necessarily the 1v1 Coliseum, right?
Right.
So that's what it means to me, is just take time to appreciate the time that it took to even comprehend the idea of what Rome represents today.
Wow. Can I add to that from
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
kind
please
of
do.
getting ideas from Brofiki talking? It also kind of a light bulb went off. It also to me means even if you create something, uh, you're like, wow, that'd have been great if I'd have did this, right? So you're adding to it as well to make it even more spectacular, whatever it is, from the experience you have of each time you uh, again analyze what you're doing or what you've done.
Yeah.
Say, well, hey, I built this house, but shoot, had I put this fire pit on this deck, that would have made it so much better when we do stuff outside. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like you do something or you have a plan, and once you start getting into building that plan, it gets bigger. So
Right.
you add to it and make it more spectacular next time. So like I jumped to this hoop in this circus, but hey, if that hoop was on fire, there would be more of a ooh ah effect. You know what I'm saying? So
So
that's
kind of
kind of what I'm getting.
analyzing the work you've already done.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
not necessarily just what you're looking forward to, but the things that
Uh
you've
huh.
accomplished already.
Yep.
That's an interesting twist, Bro Fiki. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
I'll add a little pop in.
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay.
As you literally pop in.
I'll pop in. Um, well, I was just thinking that if Rome was built, the whole Rome wasn't built in a day. That's because beautiful things take time, whether
Right.
it's relationships or a business or whatever. And like you said, evolution. Uh, things evolve as you go.
Mhm.
But to me, the main intention of that statement is like stay the course
Mhm.
with the vision. And from that vision, that will continue to build and to stay the course so that you can create versus giving up, where so many people give up in a year or two of business or give up in a relationship or whatever it might be, because it's like, oh, this is too hard. So it's tuning back into the original vision
Mhm.
of what you were wanting to create, to come back to, oh yeah, this is going to take effort and adjustments and changes, and almost like a balancing of your system, to know like, oh, Rome wasn't built in a day. I need to lower my expectations of self to achieve whatever this is.
Right. And
Nice.
you're also a business owner as well. So, I mean, for you, just to establish what you've done, it takes a lot of critiquing and learning from your own mistakes or accomplishments. For me, like I always listen back to every episode I do to kind of see,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I could have done this a little different. I like
Mhm.
that. Or, just kind of, there's a little bit of dead air here. I didn't really like how that sounded. And it kind of helps me improve as well.
Hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly. Love it.
All right. Are we ready to move on, or are we going to keep going? You got anything else to add there, Evolution?
Well, yeah. Everybody's making my brain work tonight.
I figured.
Yeah.
So it's like a constant tweaking of what's going on, like in business. That example came up. So it's like, well, we did this last month, and we did this last year. So what can we do to outperform those numbers next time? You know what I mean? Should we have a sale? Should we position this product a different way? Should we add new product lines to what we're selling? So just constant tweaking and adding to what you have already, trying to outdo what you've done before. So that's kind of what I got off of uh, the business comment.
I like it. I
Mm.
like it. All right, Bro Fiki, you got one you want to throw in?
Yeah. So this came up. I'll give you a little background preface after I say it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Not my monkey, not my circus.
I mean, I know I've heard it before in the past. I
Yeah,
can't think
yeah,
of
yeah.
when, but I know.
So I went to Crystal Hot Springs. So it's like a natural hot springs a couple weeks ago with my
Mhm.
son. And they were doing like a sound bath, like drums and stuff there, which was super cool. This guy had this drum, like a bongo drum. Okay, and it was from the 60s and it was like in his dad's storage and it was made out of like zebra skin. Okay, so
Mm,
like super dope. He got it in Ethiopia, Indonesia, or
mhm.
something like that. And the guy like grabbed it and put it in the water and started banging on it. And we're like, dude, you're gonna like, you just ruined that.
Mhm.
Okay, first off, you're not supposed to put drums in the water, but like this zebra, like freaking wrapped drum, from the
Right.
60s, his dad got, and he's just putting it in the water. And there was a gal sitting next to Tal that was like, "Not my monkey, not my circus, not my monkey," is the saying. But
Mhm.
like
Either way.
consistent, right? So that came out after the last episode that we did with together,
Mhm.
and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, man,
Yeah.
that's a really good one, because you think about it, like you see a kid that's like throwing a fit somewhere at a birthday party, and you're like, that's not
Mhm.
my kid. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Right.
So it kind of just makes it feel like, that's a you problem, and I don't need to deal with it. Like, that's
Right,
your
right.
household problem. I don't. You know what?
Yeah.
Don't even talk to me until you have this figured out and resolved, and then give me a call, and don't even tell me you resolved it. Is what I got from that.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good, Bro Fiki. Evolution, do you wanna add on to that first, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So, not my monkey, not my circus.
Yeah.
I laughed when I heard you say that before we started, and I even
Good.
laughed again once you brought it up now. It's just a catchy phrase. It's just kind of comical to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like Bro Fiki was saying, when something's too much to handle, people are like, you know what? I'm gonna wash my hands of that. I'm gonna stay away from it. That's not my
Right.
problem.
Right.
You deal with it. I'm gonna go over here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what I got. It's something that occurs that you just don't even want to be a part of because of either the difficulty of it or the weirdness of it. Uh, you just want to
Right.
stay away because it's a problem. or it could be a bigger issue than what it is already.
What?
Are you getting feedback from me?
No.
I'm
Okay.
good. No,
All right, so I'm hearing some back feeds.
no, I'm
Maybe,
good.
okay, cool. So yeah, that's kind of what I got. It's something it's such a situation that you're like, you know what, I'm done.
Right.
It's like I was walking down in the grocery store, and this older lady dropped her pants and squatted right there in front of me. Uh, you know, I'm just
But
gonna
did that actually
turn.
happen, or is this just a scenario?
No, that's actually a YouTube video that popped in my head that I seen a long time ago. Yeah, stay away from those YouTube videos, man. They can get
Right.
weird.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
funny.
it's just one of those things that occur that you're just like, no, I'm
See,
good.
and when I think of that statement, I think of like situations that I've either already dealt with or
Mhm.
situations that I know are realistic enough that could happen to me, to where if it's not me and then I don't even know the people, that's
Mhm.
exactly how I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't even want to be involved. I want nothing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw a car crash down the street. I don't know who those people are. I'm good.
Yep,
I'm
not my
leaving.
problem. He's like, yeah, when you see people pulled over on the side of the road or something, you're like,
Yeah.
should I stop? Or
Yeah.
like when you see a homeless person, they're asking for money, you're like, should I give them
Yeah.
money? You know, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of like when the idea for that phrase pops up for me.
Mhm. No, it's good. Like I said, for me, it resonates mostly with things that are more related to me, like, or something
mhm.
that could happen or has happened, kind of like the kids. I'm glad it ain't my kid. Something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have kids and that happened, I wouldn't be thinking that because I don't care.
So I want to make a comment off what Rafiki just said. He mentioned people with signs are homeless or asking for money or whatever. That sparked a interesting scenario. There was a guy who was in this area doing that, and one of the people that donated to his cause was able to see him leave. And when he left, he got into a vehicle, and it was a nice vehicle. And then they followed him to this really, really nice house. And so the person was ticked off. It's like, you're not homeless. Your
Yeah.
whole house is actually better than mine. So they found out that this guy was making like 80 grand a year from doing that. So
Damn.
Yeah.
IRS took care of that pretty quick.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a
Yeah.
lot around here. I've seen there's several people that do that in
Uh-huh.
this area,
And you
which is
never know where they
absurd.
come from because they're always there. But this particular person was able to see them leave. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy cow, that's insane. But people do what they do, right?
Mm-hmm. Talia, did you want to add anything to that one?
Yeah, I want to pop in. Um,
She's like, I'm here supporting, so I might as well.
well, to me, because I actually use this expression very frequently,
Mhm.
hmm
and for me, it's when I come into these situations and I'm in observation, like of people and how they're behaving doesn't resonate with me or choices I would be making. I'll say that a lot, but it's really for me removing myself from like judging someone or getting pissed off because they're showing up in a way that I don't agree with,
Mhm.
or if it's not affecting me, or I don't know these people, it's like that definitive answer of like, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't need to be
Right.
involved, because it's
hmm
so easy to go into life, especially if you haven't like done your healing, and get triggered by everyone and everything and anything
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And so it's that phrase of like separating you from the drama,
Or
separating
like,
you.
or like your
And
judgment in a way, like
yeah,
Kind of
like a
like discernment as to what
yeah.
bothers you.
yeah. And just removing yourself from going into that place of judgment
Mhm.
of someone. It's like, well, they're going to do what they're going to do, and
Mhm.
I'm going to still do what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to let it affect me at all,
hmm
because I'm recognizing with this statement that this person is not, or this situation's not something that I want to get myself involved in. And so I say it a lot because I use humor when things are fucked up, Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Oh.
fine.
Yeah.
Kind of late, but yes.
Rafiki, every time you do anything with your Chromebook, I'm hearing it. Every time you even shift it, I'm hearing it. So just a heads up.
That might be what I was hearing.
Okay.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
we'll set
handle
it.
this.
Okay.
You're good.
All
But
right.
yeah, not
Thank
my
you for
circus.
telling me.
Not my
You're good.
circus. Not my monkeys means
Yes.
I don't want to get involved in your
That's-
bullshit or bad
It's
choices.
funny that
and
you
I'm
say
choosing
that.
the higher road.
That is
All right.
so funny. That is so good. Now I'm just picturing all these people that I think look like monkeys.
Flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz too.
I know that the way I dressed when I was 19, if I saw that now, I'd be like, what the heck?
All right, is that better?
Hey, was
That's
that
good.
beating the drum in the water? Is that what that was?
There we go.
No, that's better. There you go. We're good. We're
Okay.
good.
Thanks.
good.
I should have done that sooner.
No, I had like this whole like emo goth look when I was like 17, like with this like colored hair, and like now when I see kids like that, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that I
Send me pictures. I want to see that. I want proof.
I've never showed you pictures. Oh, I'll show
No,
you.
dude, and I've
Oh
shared
my
pictures
God.
with you. Like I had Dragon Ball Z hair. Man,
It's,
like I always have
it's
crazy
bad.
hair. In fact, on
I'll
Tuesday,
show
I
you.
get
It's
my new
bad.
dreads in.
I'll show you. It's bad.
I'm domesticated right now
It's all
because my
good.
wife is like, you need to look the part.
Evolution, did you want to add anything else?
Yes, actually,
I figured.
because some statements were made earlier about, I guess, in the realm of what I got this idea from.
Right.
So, not my monkey, not my circus. You don't want to get involved because these things can actually pull you in to somewhere or something that you don't want to be a part of.
Right.
For instance, like you're going to you get ready to go into a bank, right? And you
Right.
see like 7, 8 people go in there with ski masks and all that. You might want to just hold off on that.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, like hey guys, like Ixnay, the bank
Yeah, yeah. I'll do an ATM or something like that. Or come back tomorrow.
That's
But
good.
yeah, you don't want to. The clues and signs are there, right?
Mhm.
So you don't want to get pulled in. So you're just like, you know what? I don't feel
Right.
the energy towards doing all this right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off.
Yeah. No. Yes. Exactly, man. It's so nice having like the extra guests because it's
Mhm.
totally like kind of revamps the way we're looking at this stuff too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. You know what? Evolution, you haven't done one yet, man. You're the
I
co-host. What you got?
I can do one right now.
Let's go.
If there is a will, there is a way. So this is something that I kind of have always used in my thought process, no matter what it is, because I'm just that different type of person or unique or whatever. A lot of people call it stubbornness, but but if I get focused on something or I have an idea or a way of looking at something, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm not gonna vary from that in any way because I have full belief in that idea or the potential of that goal or dream or wish coming true. So I got the will. I just got to find the way. So that's kind of what I get out of this is something that kind of builds my character and gives me the success in things that I'm working on because most of the times when you deal with people, they're like, well, I tried that and it didn't work for me. I'm like, well, I'm not
Right.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the things that they do that work for them. I'm like, yeah, that's you. My situation is slightly different. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do me, right?
Right.
So found in most scenarios, if you do you and analyze a scenario from where you are and what you're trying to get to, because you can tell somebody 100% of your idea and they still won't get it. You know what I mean? They don't get it until they start to see the results of your efforts, right? So that's kind of what I get from if there's a will, there's a way.
Well, and you said like people want to see like they see the results of their efforts. When I hear of like if there's a will, there's a way. Today's society, I feel like a lot of people see the results of other people's efforts and want the way without having the will.
Yeah.
You know, so they think of, oh, there's money in this. I know there's money in this, but they don't have the drive to do it, and they're not pushing for it. Just speak up. What's happening, man? Thanks for the hi. That's our buddy Job Les.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. But if you don't have the drive and the commitment to do something, like, look, I'm all for helping anybody create these shit, like their own podcasts, their own shows. I'll even help you create the design, and I'm not even going to ask for money. I just want to do it because you have the will to do it. I've had a lot of people that'll reach out and be like, "Hey, I have this good money bank concept," and I'm like, "No, I don't." That's the worst way to approach me. Like, if you're not doing this because you have the drive to do it, I'm not going to help you. I'm sorry. Because you can't just throw money at something and think it's going to succeed. I mean, sometimes it will if you continuously throwing money at it.
Right.
But yeah, when I think of, we love you, JG. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. But yeah, so that's what I think of if there's a will or a way. Like, I've developed a passion for this, and I've got the drive to do it. I've got the content and the quality there. So now it's just the next step for me. I'm not looking at, what's at the end of the tunnel. I'm running it like I'm already there, and it's going to happen. What you guys got?
So on if there's a will, there's a way. It really comes down to like your deepest passion that motivates you innately without the implementation or like influence of others is to what, in my opinion, is what drives you. Right. So like, I mean, Juke, you've known me long enough that like I've come up with the craziest fucking goals of my life, and I have achieved every fucking single one of them. And it just comes down to, it's like, do you have a will? I'm like, no, but I'll find a way. You know,
Yes.
Like I'm just like, I'm going to do that. And people, would be like, well, how are you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it.
That is the will, though.
Right. That's the point, though, is like, it's not necessarily that I have a will to do something. It's just, I'm going to do that because I skip steps. I'm just like, I'm going to be on that stage with that DJ during the biggest set of this. And then people are like,
but that's a drive. I mean, the drive to get there. I mean, it's,
So for me, I don't look at will. Essentially, like, mine is just like a simple desire that's selfish. I have a selfish desire.
I think you're just looking at the word will and twisting it into a different word, but it's still the same concept.
I guess I don't really like the word will.
There it is.
I know a few wills.
Well, I just think
not fan of any wills out there.
Shit with like Chris Rock really got me. Okay, it should have been the other way around. Chris Rock should have bitch slapped that motherfucker because of Millennium, because it was the worst album ever. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm just.
No, you're good, man.
But you think about willpower, right? You have willpower. If there's a willpower behind it, if there's a driving force, if there's coal burning in that train to get you where you're going to go, that's great. So yeah, it's mostly like, if you are truly allowing yourself to be worthy and deserving of the desired outcome, and you allow that success to come in and that fulfillment to come in, and you accept it and you allow it to be present, then your manifestation of your desire that created that will to even have that thing will come to fruition. And that comes back to manifestation,
right?
Which, it's a very hard thing to learn. And that's why most of the time that I'd hear, if there's a will, there's a way, we're hearing that from very wise individuals, both men and women, and all of the pronouns and alphabet soup bullshit out there. That will tell you certain things. And we look up to these people and we're like, you're fucking crazy. Did you take your Xanax today? And they're like, medications aside, we're on to something.
Absolutely.
And 9 times out of 10, they're right. You know what I mean? You think about it, like, how many times we tell our kids, I mean, we have a few. We're just like, if that's something you really want to do, then why don't you come up with a proposal as to how that could happen?
I like it.
Is my turn?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So this is another expression I use a lot and in business with my clients. because one thing I've noticed working with people is the people who have that undying desire to achieve whatever, they're not going to be throwing negative ass comments or energy into the transaction. Right. So for those that don't know, I'm referring to like my mortgage clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a different experience with a client that comes in with that will and that desire, mm-hmm. and that knowing that like, I'm going to do the work to make this happen. And I'm with you, JG. Like, I will go to the ends of the earth for any one of my clients to make something happen for them, mm-hmm. if there's that will and that drive. But then I get other clients that come in and it's like, oh, I just want to be a homeowner and, oh, I want this, but they are living in fear and scarcity and like, and constantly having issues, like everything's a problem, getting documents, scheduling an appraisal, like every step of the way, it's like fear, fear, fear. Mm-hmm. Instead of this like attuned, like, no, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And so to me, it's like a combination of desire and attitude, and also intention. If all those things create the will inside of you, there is always a way.
Right.
And just like I also say, everything is figure outable, because if you've got that will and that desire to figure it out, you're not going to stop until you figure it out.
Yeah.
But working with someone that is like, well, it's kind of cool, everyone else is buying a house, so I kind of want a house, or, oh, I want to be a real estate investor because I want to make all this money. And so there's distorted will and there's aligned will. And I've been both. Okay. Just like building my real estate empire. It's like, oh, I have this will, this drive, because I saw as a child that you can make all this money by investing in real estate. But then I got here and it was like, my God, this is really stressful. And like, people call me at all hours, and like that shifted for me. And now I don't have that will. I'm like, can we offload these ASA freaking P, because I have a greater mission to serve right now.
Right.
And so that will changes. But initially, that will was from a place of scarcity, because I grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money. And so it was like, I had a will not to be broke. I had a will to be financially stable, and I saw that real estate investing. And so I followed that, and I was like on fire about it, and then you get older and you're like, actually, this is not in alignment with me anymore. What was I thinking? There's other ways to make massive amounts of money.
Right.
And so that's where through life, like, we can change and shift, and that will can adjust. But as soon as it adjusts, things start going sideways. If you're not in aligned with that action to get to the way. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts. There's a will. You've got that burning desire. Anything is possible.
Yep.
I love that phrase.
That's a good phrase. I think it's a very well rounded phrase that a lot of people use.
Thank you. I want to jump in here real quick.
I assumed you did, Evolution.
Please do.
Heck yeah. She gave me a lot. And the biggest thing that kicked it off was, certain things people say just makes my brain just explode with ideas. Mm-hmm. Everything is figure outable. That's genius. So to jump on your wagon and kind of elaborate a little bit more, it's kind of like if there's a will, there's a way. It's somebody's faith in something, or their positivity about it, their focus. And then once you get into your idea and realize, crap, what have I got myself into? You kind of jump into the fire and you feel it burning. So you got to figure out how to, evolve to those things or adjust to those things. That's which was stated before. But to me, it's about forecasting the future, if you will. You have something, an idea that you want to pursue. Even if it's in sports, right? You want to win the championship this year. but you
Yeah.
have to build the team. You have to find out everybody's unique skill set and figure out how we can make that work
Mhm.
as a team, so we can conquer the challenges ahead, so we can make it to the playoffs and then make it through the playoffs to the final big game, and then ultimately do something either drastic or planned to win it all. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's all about finding the tools that you need, or the the things to build on, I guess, to get to that way when you have that will in the beginning. That's what I
Right.
got.
No, that's great, man. I think we all kind of touched it very accurately on that one. And now I know that Rafiki doesn't like the word will. So
I don't.
that's
I
crazy.
don't. Yeah, I really realize that, but I really don't like using the word or the phrase.
That's fair.
Here at JG's Lounge, we now and forever
Agents.
will remove that
That
word
word from
Thank
our
you.
dictionary.
Thank you. If we could just eliminate free will and just put free agency, you're good.
I'm gonna add one other thing on this with
Okay.
Uh-huh.
will, like that again. Well, you JG, or what am I supposed to call you on here?
Evolution.
Evolution.
Juke.
Evolution. This guy.
Yeah. So when you're working with people that do have that will, that desire, it just is so much more fruitful,
hmm
and you can get a lot further
Mhm.
hmm
than those that are just wanting you to do the work for them to achieve the results that you've achieved,
Mhm.
but they're not really aligned with it. And so it feels kinky to, well, that's maybe not a good word on here.
You already said fuck. It's fine.
It feels kinky in my system when I'm like, I want to help you, but you're like in your
Well-
own way, you're not aligned. And so to me, having that will
Mhm.
is alignment with that desire. And
Well,
and
sorry.
yeah,
Finish.
creating those relationships that are in alignment with you, where working with someone endlessly that doesn't have that will and that true desire,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter how big my paycheck is. It could be, because I'm paid based on loan amount, like $2 million loan. If the person's nasty, I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
good.
But if it's
Mhm.
$100,000 loan that I make not much, I will go to the ends of the earth if you've got that burning desire, because I know if we come up to any problems, there'll be a team player to solve it and get through it and get to the end result, the desired result. But if they don't have that will, it's going to be like and you
Yeah,
might get there, but in my experience, even with home ownership, most of the people that get there, even through the like stops all the way, they end up losing the house or foreclosing, or
Wow.
things go sideways.
Mhm.
And so to me, it's just that reminder of staying in alignment with who you are and what your desires are, and say no to everything else.
Boom.
right.
Wow.
Well, I see that a lot with like helping people with designing their own stuff, and like especially, I think some of the biggest things that excite me is when I present like a logo design or something to somebody, like this guy over here taking a drink, Evolution, and he'll be like, you know what, could you just tweak it like this, or like he's actually looking at the details. He's like, I know what I want. You're almost there. I appreciate all your help. But could you try this or try? I love that when I get people that
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling knowing that
Mhm.
they're invested. If
Yeah,
I send
and
somebody something plain and they're like, "Nah, cool, yeah, that's fine. Let's just use that." Like that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Call me out if it's not what you want, but because I can't help you if you ain't helping me help you.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Natalia, do you want to throw something in? Do you have one for us before I go?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, take it.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Ooh.
That's good.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's
good.
a good one. What does that mean to you?
Do I start with my meaning? Oh, I'm
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a pop in this time.
No. Welcome to the crew.
Just
I
because
will
that
call
he
you
will,
out.
he does,
Yes,
he
you will.
does, and it's
That's what I love
great.
about Ja.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, Ja, because me and Brofiki were talking about you the other day. He's like, did I rub him wrong? I was like, no, that's just who he is, man, and it's great. That's who you are, and it's fantastic, man.
I was just making sure that it wasn't just
No,
me because
no.
I thought I was special.
Me and him made
But,
friends
apparently I'm
because we
not.
had when we first met, me and him, we had a disagreement, but it was the most constructive disagreement. Now we talk all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
I wonder if he has a Libra moon. I'm just saying.
What's wrong with Libras? Ooh, I struck a nerve.
Oh, that's good.
Before you respond, you have to know why I asked that question.
I know why you asked that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like you have to like not only read the fucking instruction manual, but also like make sure that everybody else is following it step by step. And it's like, did you put in a request for a change for that? Maybe you should put a message in the suggestion box. And you're like, thanks, Captain Obvious.
You know, I have to agree. I can be that
Libras
way
are the common sense,
sometimes.
though, of the zodiacs.
Yeah. I tend to have to agree to that. Yeah, you got that one right on the nose.
That's good.
No, I love you, Stan.
All right, Tal, you want to keep going, or were you all?
Yeah.
What do you got?
keep going.
So, to me, the sun will come out tomorrow. Well, first of all, I always think of Annie.
Yeah.
Sun
Of
will
course.
come out tomorrow.
Put your bottom dollar tomorrow.
I'm
There'll
just gonna
be
end this
some.
broadcast, guys. Thanks for being part of it.
We're gonna add. This is a podcast musical. Okay. So,
The first ever.
All right, yeah.
yes, first ever. But with the sun comes out tomorrow, it's that like that hope, that optimism, that like no matter what storm you're going through, or no matter what darkness you're in, or shadow you're facing, or shitty situation you're in, there's always that light. There's always an ending. Nothing is permanent. So to me, the main message of that is the impermanence of life and appreciation for the moment, and not allowing yourself to be thrown off in the storm, because you're like, you know what? It's all right that it's shitty right now, because tomorrow we're going to have sunshine. Tomorrow we can go to the beach, but today we're hunkered down, movies, because there's a torrential downpour, or in Utah, blizzard, whatever. But it's that anchor of knowing that nothing lasts forever, not even the good stuff.
Right.
But this is geared more to, getting through the bad stuff, knowing that good will come again, positive things will happen. You'll feel that warm sun on your skin where you can just like relax and breathe and just be.
Unless you
So
live
to
in
me, it's
like a
that
certain area of
knowing that-
Alaska where like several months out of the year it's just dark all year, then
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like 30 days a night, right?
Yeah.
Sun will
Something
not
like that.
come out tomorrow in Alaska. You're gonna lose up your game on I don't know, self-actual.
No, I agree. So I love that. I'm gonna jump in just because I love that statement, and I think that it's great for people who are struggling. It's kind of that, hey, if you push and and you want it to be better, it will be better. I mean, there's always another day. There's always another opportunity. No matter what, at the end of the day, you're gonna go to sleep and you're gonna wake up tomorrow. It can be better. You just kind of got to get through it. I've definitely experienced those days where I'm like, man, I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for tomorrow, so I can just put this behind me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have had many of those days, so it's a good one.
Well, I'll go. Natalia, you really are inspirational to this podcast show today. I would say, kind of building off of Brofiki's comments in the past, I think the sun will come out tomorrow is one of those wise statements of wisdom. kind of generating the thoughts of hope. Um, unless you're in a coliseum and your head's getting chopped off, there's not going to be a tomorrow. But
Hey, if there's a will, there's a way.
so yeah, definitely, like you were saying about in a dark situation, or I always like to say the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're looking for the change to come, and you realize that through experience or through someone else's guidance, that this is just a time frame. It's only going to last for so long. So you're looking towards this monsoon being over, this monsoon season, so that you can experience the sunshine of the summer, right?
Right.
So that's what I got.
Bro Fiki, what you got, man?
So I actually think of the song "Sunshine" by Atmosphere.
I
And the
know I
song
know that
essentially-
song, but I haven't heard it in a long time.
Okay, so essentially, he's like hungover from drinking,
Mhm.
and he's in the lyrics, and he's just like how sick he is, and just like sunshine, 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 it's fine, right? And just kind of just like accepting like what is, right? So to me, when I think of like the sun will come out tomorrow, I think of like not only are you accepting defeat, but you're also accepting success, right? So it could be like the best night of your life, and even the best moments have to end, right? So alluding to, the opposite end of the spectrum, we're looking at, we might have the best nights of our life, but the sun's still going to come out tomorrow, and it's going to be a different day. And
Right.
so really fully embrace all of our wins as much as our losses. Like embrace and accept and appreciate someone's like presence as much as their absence is a phrase that I use a lot. It's kind of how I look at it, like accepting the sunlight for when it's out, although you prefer the night. I'm a night person. I love nighttime more than anything. I travel mostly when the sun is out, like down. And I prefer to be outside when it's nighttime. That's just a personal preference of mine.
Right.
Because I can see more details in the sky with the stars or the clouds with the moon, whether the moon's present or not, is more beautiful to me than the sun that's shining in the sky. And so it just comes down to like appreciate every single moment and know that the sun will come out tomorrow is a very agnostic phrase that's relevant in almost every situation.
Yeah, I agree.
I like your statement of accepting success. I think that's perfect.
Thank you.
I agree.
I like him.
This guy, that guy. I know. I wonder why I keep him around, and then he says things like that, and I'm like,
okay. I'm going to make a statement though, and it's a bold statement.
Uh-huh.
He's the only Libra that I like in my life. The other ones, it's not that I don't like them. I just tolerate them.
Well, secretly, I didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you this, but his name is actually Will.
Oh, no. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
I'm just kidding.
I still like you. I still
Thank
like
you. We will keep my middle name out of this.
Yeah.
All right?
Hey, you know what? I will make an exception for this wonderful evolution.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
As long as he doesn't start going by like Willie Lucian or something.
That's not
I
going to
don't
happen.
think that my heart can handle that.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, man,
all right, my next one is a stitch in time saves 9. Are you guys familiar with a stitch in time?
No,
saves
say that
9?
again.
No.
A stitch in time saves 9. So it goes back to like the 1100s, and the idea behind it is if like your fabric is tearing, sew it up right away so that it doesn't spread and get worse. It's kind of a procrastination statement. So like if you procrastinate your problems instead of taking them as they come, you're just building on later. So a stitch now will save you 9 stitches later.
A
Interesting.
stitch in time saves 9.
Yes.
Interesting.
I
good, isn't
love
it?
this, Duke.
Why
Oh
haven't
my
I
god,
heard
I've
this?
never heard this before.
Why haven't I used this?
Dude, I'm gonna get a tattoo now, and then I'm gonna put like a jukebox next to it. And, like, seriously, like stitches of a 9
Yeah.
inside of a jukebox. I think
It's
it'd
a
be a
good.
really
I
cool
love.
art trigger
It
for
just
you.
sounds cool, and it actually has a lot of meaning because I'm terrible at this. Like I'll be like, this is it's a bill I can deal with later. Like there's certain things that maybe you can put off, but knowing what you can and what you can't, it does build up. Like I can line up guests for 2 months and then cancel 2 or 3 of them, and then just keep canceling as I'm going, and then it just builds up later on. Or finances, whatever it is in life. But if it's a small thing,
Whatever it is in life.
it's just a matter of, can you take care of it now or not? A stitch in time.
Yeah, it's like
Do
preparation.
you stitch it right now, or do you just let it get worse and then you're basically replacing the whole damn pant because it's too bad to fix?
Wow.
Well, to me, it's taking the action now to prevent further issues later, and not procrastinating, and not like waiting for someone else to do it. But if you see a problem, like you said, like if you're able to take action or do something, I think all of us can resonate with those times that like you avoid doing something out of fear, time, whatever, or having, this can be in personal relationships too, like where, you may need, so an example being like co-parenting. You need to have a conversation with the co-parent, or your relationship's thrown off and you don't, and you kick it down like, oh, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be fine. They can keep treating me this way. And it creates that bigger problem. I see it probably the most in relationships and business. But if you address it head on, then you can save so much of that other BS.
Yeah.
In everything, business, relationships.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't got 99 problems, son. Just need one stitch.
Let's stitch this up now.
Wow. That's great. Off of your statements and your idiom, man, a stitch in time saves nine. Man, that's awesome. I love it. I'll probably use that from now on.
Yeah,
I like it. It's a good. It's a lot. It sounds really awesome.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So I'm surprised I haven't heard of it till now. Probably because it's so old, or traditional, whatever. Being proactive to prevent chaos. Kind of building off of Natalie's statement. Just kind of looking into something and seeing where it's going. It's just like, hey, this is moving to the left. I need to bring it back to the right so we can continue to go straight. Even in the work environment, you have a goal. You have things that need to be done in a certain time frame, and if someone's not cutting the mustard or doing their portion of that particular chore, task, then they either need to be repositioned in that or removed from that, so that the people that are doing their job can get to get it done. You used the example of co-parenting. Wow.
We have a couple kids.
I didn't want to use my personal relationships, so I feel like
no, absolutely not, but that can go a lot of different directions, and you definitely want to use one stitch to save nine in that capacity, in that area, because depending on the co-parent that you're dealing with, it can be very interesting, to say the least. I had one of those, and thank goodness it's behind me. I can definitely say that one stitch can save nine, using that example. But that's what I got, man. That's pretty interesting. I like it.
What you got, Rafiki?
Yeah, so I just rebuilt my car. So I preemptively did some repairs on it because I knew that if I didn't, like while the engine was taken apart, that eventually that they'd fall apart. So in a way that was me having a stitch in time, knowing that like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this in 30,000 miles, but if I do it now, I won't have to do it for 100,000 miles.
Right.
So like, I only had to replace one ignition coil and spark plug, so I just did all 6, and then I did both
There you
ignition
go.
coils that needed to be done. I upgraded my aluminum valve, or my valve cover, from plastic to aluminum. I upgraded all of the hoses for the radiator and the oil cooler from the old rubber to silicone, because I know that it's going to be durable. Instead of just replacing what was necessary, I actually took the steps and upgraded everything
That makes sense.
while I was in it. So that was me saving 9 stitches later and just doing it all now.
Mm-hmm.
And probably stitching it up even better to where you won't have any future issues.
Oh man, she's a tank.
Yeah. So the statement of addressing it head on was made earlier, and definitely, I think if everything was addressed head on, or a lot more,
Yeah.
a lot of problems in society would go away.
Yeah.
I agree.
Overnight.
Instead of waiting for something to like need to be fixed or replaced or waiting, it's
Mhm.
just like being preemptive, like knowing that you need snow tires, but it's November 15th, and so it's not officially the first day of winter and it hasn't snowed yet. Doesn't mean it's not a bad idea to put your snow tires on now.
Unless
Right.
it's somebody's car that you don't know and it's like backfiring down the street and you're like, not my monkey, not my problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then it's
Exactly.
kind of one of those things
Not
like
my snow tire.
Yeah.
they get to
So-
have their 9 stitches later on.
so I want to use these 2 examples because I think after hearing Rafiki, it really just popped up like boom, boom, boom. Because nothing's being done prior to something happening, even though all the signs are there. So when you deal with like the police or the government, they won't do anything. Like they can get a call, say, "Hey, there's a suspicious person in my neighborhood. I think they look like they're out of place. It looks like they're going to do something weird." Well, we get you, we hear you, but we really can't do anything until a crime is committed, right?
Right.
So the person is trying to prevent that from happening, but because of how everything is set up or structured, uh, something has to take place first before a response is made. I just think that that's kind of ridiculous, but that's kind of how it has been and how it is now, and probably in the future as well. But I just think just those 2 examples, if they were more proactive in preventing chaos prior to it happening, a lot of stuff would not be occurring or taking place, and it would just save so many stitches from being,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep. But the minute you don't pay your electricity bill, they'll shut your power off like that. I don't even hesitate. There's no protocol. They just shut it off.
Heck yeah.
Good thing I don't live in your state.
Oh man.
That's good. All right. Hey, who's up next? I mean, I don't know Stan, I don't think we're going to be able to do all 3 of ours.
Whoa!
I was gonna say
Hey,
evolution. And
we've
we're already
only been. It's only been 58 minutes.
Their kids have school tomorrow. I mean, I don't know.
What
Are
time
you
is
guys
it?
doing
What time
okay?
is it?
Are you guys okay? Are you guys good?
We're fine.
Okay. As long as you guys are good and having fun, then we'll keep going.
No, honestly, our kids are behaving right now,
Okay.
so like,
All right.
Well, they're
Hey.
just texting and
They're co-parenting and having a great time with us at the same time. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
no, we have a couple more. Like,
Okay,
so the
all right,
next
cool.
one, I've got one.
Okay.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Is that the right
this
phrase?
is the
Okay, so the right phrase is the pot calling the kettle black.
Mhm.
He's done that one in the past, but we'll
Have we?
go
Okay.
ahead. Yes, it's fine. We've done a few of these episodes, so we might have touched on it, but it's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I got a couple other ones.
Just throw something out there.
It will grow back.
It will grow back. Okay.
So think about it, like every time you get a haircut, or like for me, a beard trim, for example, and I'm like, oh, I hate it because, I have a pretty awesome beard and it grows so fast. And every time I cut it, I'm like, damn it, I hate this. And it's always like she'll say it will grow back.
Yep.
But that phrase, in terms of, hair or whatever, I mean, it goes to everything, right? It's like your money, when your money's long and you go spend a lot and it's like, it will grow back, your savings will grow back, or, your abundance will grow back into something else and be something more than what it is. It still doesn't take away from the fact that like it was something great before. And then we just had like a second or a lapse of a moment of, I want to change this, right? When you cut all your hair off or, whatever. Is that phrase always bothered me, because people would act like they could justify the fact, or they could ignore the fact that there's a problem and that you're sad or upset or, about something not being there anymore.
Right.
And I feel like when somebody says it will grow back, it's kind of like shoving it aside, like your feelings and emotions,
Right.
and dishonoring like your truth as to, like, oh man, like you're having a hard time about this, but you're so excited about getting a haircut beforehand, and I feel like it's overused and misunderstood. Is that why that phrase stood out to me?
Wow.
Okay.
Overused and misunderstood. Rafiki, you've said this to me many times. You said, I disagree. So I'm gonna disagree slightly with you on this one.
I love this.
That's good. That's good.
He's been hanging out with Jaw too much.
So it will grow back. To me, I'm looking at this as a positive thing, actually, because using your example of hair, sometimes you go to a beautician or whatever, whoever's working on your hair, barber, and they'll cut it in order for it to grow back better or longer next time, or just help it because of the edges or whatever.
Yeah.
So the way I'm looking at this is you have to kind of lose something in order to get more or get something better. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm tracking.
Yeah. So in most cases, like for when people are hoarders or they just have something that I guess has some type of value personally to them. Let's say a car. You have an old beat up car that you just love. It's your first car. You pay it off, and you just want to keep it forever, no matter how much rust is on it. And people are like, why don't you trade that in? Or why don't you?
I've been begging him.
Whoa! I hit a nerve.
Time management. It's fine.
He dropped his head. I wasn't expecting this to go this well.
It's fine. Keep going. This is great.
This well.
This is great. This is so close to home.
Keep going.
So basically, in order to get something better or get further in what you're trying to do, you have to let that something go in order to get something more appreciative or something better or something to take you to the next level. So that's kind of what I got out of that.
I want to add to that. There was a time in my life where I was very involved in drugs and just very bad things. I had an apartment, my first apartment, a lot of people that weren't friends, but they were there. And I hit rock bottom, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with all of it. I gave everything, my furnishings, my clothing, other than a bag, and I'm like, I'm starting fresh. And I had to. I had to step away and move on, and I did, and I turned out a lot better because of it.
Cool.
So the whole growing back, I mean, that's kind of what I got based off your perception of it, evolution. That really hits deep for me in that instance.
Sweet.
Can I add?
Absolutely.
No, $5.
Ending the broadcast right now.
To me, like what he's saying is it can come off like when people say that in response as it's not that big of a deal. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's going to grow back, right? But I'm totally with you on that growth aspect. If we're not talking about hair specifically.
Yeah.
Because it's like it will grow back. And to me, when I face any problem or challenge, it's an opportunity for growth, learning. There's some sort of a lesson in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, even if you cut your hair and you're like, damn it, this is way shorter, I look horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sweet, you actually just learned that, like,
You took
on
way
the
too
hair,
much.
on
You
the
took
hair,
way too much off.
on the hair shove. Look at my hair now. My hair is so long.
No, it's not what it was.
I cut my hair from my ass to like this when I was
Mhm.
13. And my hair is so thick that I looked like I had a mushroom head. Like literally, because I was skinny and then my head was like, I had like a fro, but
Mhm.
just really thick. And I realized in that moment, and that's a lot of people told me that it'll grow back. And it's like, you know
Mhm.
how long it takes to grow 3 feet of hair?
Oh,
I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
it's
I
going to
don't.
grow back, but this is going to be like 3 years
Mm.
for me to get, or 4 years for me to get back.
Yeah.
But in that moment, the lesson was like, yeah, this short hair stacked A-line cut is not for Natalia.
Mm. But
And that perseverance to grow it through. And that can be applied to other things too. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
you have the lesson. Okay, great. Now I learned that this isn't, and it's that positive spin of that's fine. It'll grow back. That's fine. I will grow through this.
Mhm.
So when I face this challenge again,
Mhm.
I'll know how to handle it. And I know what my yes and my no's are going to be because I learned from this experience now what is for me or not.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I can lean into that. Yeah, we'll grow back because I'm going to grow.
Hmm.
I'm going to expand as a person, as a being.
Well,
Because-
that does apply to hair, doesn't it? I mean, because like when you
Yeah.
have longer hair, the split ends, like if the ends get real dried and if you don't trim them, they won't stay strong.
Correct. Yes. And
I grow
yes, that's more. Because like this goes back to the one stitch thing or the 9 things.
This is usually how the show. This is how the show goes. We usually start to kind of.
Stitch
Save
9.
9. Trimming your hair.
We should just do band
Being
lyrics, song
proactive.
lyrics based off of idioms.
Yeah, being proactive to
Uh-huh.
get that hair trim, to keep,
Mhm.
to fortify my body to fuel it for better. So
Mhm.
yes, I love that.
So let me ask you this: when you did cut your hair, um, did you experience a lot of people complimenting the new cut?
I don't know. I think I was so traumatized.
Mm.
A lot of people didn't even recognize me.
Wow. Okay.
And oddly enough, to answer this, the very next day was, and this has everything to do with growth. The very next day was field day. I don't know if y'all call it that, the elementaries or middle
We
schools.
have field days here.
Okay, yes. So field day where you're doing all the sports, right?
Mhm.
So I cut off 45 seconds on my mile and I
Ooh,
took the
what?
record, men or boys. We were
Uh-huh.
boys and girls, I ran the fastest mile, but it's because I cut 2.5 feet off of my hair. So I lost like 10 pounds at least
That's
overnight.
crazy.
That was
Wow.
intense.
And so in that moment, me letting go and shedding my hair
Mm-hmm.
gave me more force to put towards running. And I took first freaking place.
Wow.
That's
So this is
fantastic.
I'm glad you said this.
I didn't know that.
Because yeah, that's a perfect example of it'll grow back. And it might grow back in a different way. In this
Yeah,
sense,
absolutely.
it grew back in my running skills.
There you go.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
I love how the show goes. It's always so
Heck
nice
yeah.
how it can
It just
Yeah.
does its own thing, man.
Evolution.
Back
Or
to me.
wait, Natalia didn't do it. Did you want to do another one before we, or do you want evolution to go and then you can do one?
Evolution can go.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. My next one is every cloud has a silver lining. Um, to me, this statement is about uniqueness and people's uh, abilities to do things that only they can do well. Like Whitney Houston was definitely born to sing, right? Michael Jordan was definitely born to play the game of basketball. um, and Prince and Michael Jackson were definitely born to be performers, right?
Right.
And make music. So to me, every single person that exists has some uniqueness that kind of separates them from someone else. Whether it's a beautiful personality, a beautiful smile, uh, being first place in running, you know what I'm saying? Think things like that. That to me. That every cloud has a silver lining is basically saying how every individual has something that someone else may have, but they just are able to do it in a way that only they can do it. That's what I got.
Right. And it's funny because we've taught, me and Rafiki have talked to a lot of musicians, and it's interesting that there's several musicians that we've had on that talk about how they had to find their voice,
Mm-hmm,
because maybe you want to be a singer, but the tune that you think you can sing in isn't right for you.
mm-hmm,
And sometimes they have to find the natural voice that they have
mm-hmm.
instead of this perception that they have in their mind of what they need to be,
Yeah.
because they might, resonate with a certain style of music, but it's not necessarily what they were meant to sing. You know what I'm saying? So like the uniqueness of that silver lining, that's, and you talk about music, that's kind of what I'm thinking of when you say that, is sort of,
Mm-hmm.
here's your view of what you want, but the uniqueness of it might not be, it might need to be adjusted
Mm-hmm.
for it to fit, like what you're wanting to do might need to be tweaked, but it can happen. It can be accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, bro, Fiki? You got you leaning up close here.
Yeah. Can you say the phrase again?
Sure. Every cloud has a silver lining.
So
He referenced it to uniqueness.
yeah, silver lining. So I look at this as the shimmer or
Mm-hmm.
the glimmer
Mm-hmm.
in life every day, as a silver lining. Um, is like we just had dinner with our kids and we do what's called your sweet and sour. So we
That's good.
go around the table and we ask everyone what was your sour moment of the day. So all of our
Mm-hmm.
kids, 5, 10, and 13,
Mm-hmm.
and they are 14.
Almost.
Oh yeah. So
You're
they're
being
very
proactive.
ages right now, and so it's kind of like, yeah, I did round up actually on all three of them
Mm-hmm.
because their birthdays
Mm-hmm.
haven't happened yet. But we asked them what was your sour moment of the day, and then what was your sweet moment of the day, and so we acknowledge the not so silver lining,
Mm-hmm.
and what was the good and what was the bad, just plain and simple. And so for me, even going to therapy for the last couple of years, and my therapist will always ask me, like, what was your glimmer or your shimmer for the day?
Mm-hmm.
And it alludes to the silver lining and the uniqueness of something, where it's like, I met Juke, for example, when it was like the worst times in my life, but it was always a good positive experience to have somebody that was so excited to talk to you, regardless of knowing what's going on in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or my first experience, like being on your podcast, Evolution, and talking about very specific aspects of my life that I don't really talk about anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, like my life has been like on all of your podcasts in different aspects, right? So
Uh-huh.
like, we had my fitness journey, and then we had like, who was I before I was Brofiki, and
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Where it's like, if you look at life as a whole, the silver lining is that I'm breathing.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Especially where your mind. I mean, you have so many things that you have the drive to accomplish, and then sometimes you have your setbacks, and it's interesting to see how you get through them. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been
Yeah.
nice being able to be by your side these last few years and kind of see how you've progressed. So that's what I gotta say.
He evolved.
Yeah. Evolution.
Yeah, she was actually talking to me about that the other day. Like, even in the last year, like how much I've come in just like 1 year.
Hmm.
versus, I mean, Juke, you've known me for 4 or 5 years now.
Crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
Hey,
I
there's
can't
not
believe it's
enough
been 5
Xanax
years,
in the
Viz.
world for me to maintain friendship with this man.
I didn't say that. You did.
Exactly. Don't put that negative shit out into the field.
Bro Fiki,
But
Bro
here's
Fiki, Rome wasn't built in a day, Bro Fiki.
exactly.
What were
And
you
how
gonna
does
say,
that
Ty?
feel to be his silver lining, Juke? I was
It,
gonna say just on the every cloud has a silver lining, just to kind of recap, I guess, or bring it together. It's that remaining positive,
Mhm.
and I don't say that full expression, but that's what I use to reframe to stay positive in all aspects is what's the silver lining
Mhm.
Mhm.
and what's the lesson, but what's the silver lining? Because there is always something good. And even if that good is the lesson that you're like, say you mess with, I don't know, relationships are the easiest thing. And that doesn't mean like in boyfriend, girlfriend, but like you meet someone and you're like so excited about it and they're so great, so awesome. And then you see like all the real sides of them
Mhm.
and all the walls come down and you're like, ugh.
Not my
Mhm.
circus, not my monkey.
That's the process, especially in long-term relationships. Though that happens, like you see
Yeah.
that, and then you have to either accept it or it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
Yes. But and then when it doesn't work, it's not like, oh, I'm shit, no one's gonna love me, or oh, that person's so horrible. It's like, okay, I had this experience. This person came into my life. Was there a benefit, a silver lining, a positive impact that
Mm.
happened from it?
yeah,
Tune into that first. If you can't find that, you go into the lesson because the lesson can be the silver lining. Because
Mm.
if you mess with, let's say, a crappy situation, you get entangled with somebody that's not good for you, and then those walls come down.
Mhm.
Now you know how you've learned how to decipher let's call them red flags sooner,
Mhm.
or when someone shows up in some way, for example, like someone that lies or
Mhm.
isn't their word, and you can't continue a relationship with them because they continually just like mistruth you, and you're like, what was good in the relationship? You might not be able to, because maybe there was so much bad that you're like, but the good is I was able to learn about myself more and be able to learn about others more and to be able to know what's for me and what's not for me. And to me, that's the biggest thing with the silver lining is
Mhm.
finding the good in every situation.
Right.
And even if it doesn't feel good, like, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that again. But
Right.
like, I definitely want to take the juice of the lesson and infuse my life moving forward and those future choices with the lesson, which is the silver lining.
I like
So
it.
the silver lining isn't always like, roses and daisies, but it can be like so much more valuable,
Mm.
even if it doesn't feel good because you learned
Right.
and you could grow.
It's good.
You cut it off and let it
Cut it
grow.
off and let it grow.
I really like the points that you just made with relationships. I do think that when people meet each other for the first time, their first impressions, a lot of times people say what they think the other person wants to hear, or they try to be their best version of themselves to get that person to attract to them. I think people would be more successful if they just would be who they are
Mm.
and be truthful about the person that they are. That way, initially you might be like, but you might fuse, you know what I'm saying? Because your imperfections, I guess, and their imperfections might
Mm.
actually work together to make you both a bit better to collectively as a couple. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yes.
people don't think about those things, and they could probably chase the right person away before they get a chance to actually realize that that person is the best thing for them, and people kind of run away from that because they're like, well, I don't want to deal with this, like you said before. But sometimes the thing that's best for us, may not be what we think it is. And then later on, after some years of maturing, you realize, like, wow, um, maybe I should have went that route,
Mhm.
But you never know. You just got to give it that try. And honesty, like you said, is the best way to do that. Be honest with yourself. Be honest
Yep.
with the other individuals, and truth always triumphs overall. That's what I got.
I actually agree with that 100% because I know like my weaknesses, I find strengths in the other in my
Mm-hmm.
partner and my wife, and um, it's finding being able to see where you fail and where they succeed at, and finding that balance,
Mm-hmm.
and not saying, oh well, we're not alike at all. This ain't never gonna work. There's always those hills that you need to get over,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes utilizing their strengths over your weaknesses can make you stronger as in a relationship.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Natalia, what you got?
Oh, I have a
You got
good
one
one.
more. Yeah, you got
Oh,
one more.
Okay.
This will be our last
Because
one because
because I'm a woman creeping in on all this masculine energy up in here. I had to I had to
I know, bro. Fiki's kind.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
border.
I had to bring this one up.
Okay.
She's got balls bigger than most men.
That's good.
She's got
So
balls bigger than most
what
men.
does that mean for you?
Oh, what does it mean?
That's funny though. That's good.
Okay, so this is what I say to my daughter, the one that's almost 14. Well, I guess yeah, anyway. Because I'll tell her, I'll be like, that was ballsy, or like,
Yeah.
have some balls. And yeah, maybe scrutinize me. But in those moments, it's like, and I've told her, you have bigger balls. And she's like, I don't have balls. I was like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
They're hanging right here. But they're typically bigger than men's balls anyways. They're just
Higher
a
up.
different part of our body, right?
I never thought of that.
So,
Okay.
I mean, they're balls.
Yeah. Okay.
Boobs,
funny.
balls, whatever.
Okay.
But to me, and this can be because there's men that have balls, to talk about balls in the way of this, where it's like you have that fearlessness that
Uh-huh.
like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me. I'm gonna do it because I'm like,
Conviction.
yeah, I have that conviction. I have that fire burning in me, and nothing's gonna fucking stop me. Nothing you can say, do, whatever.
Mhm.
And I've got to say, I know more women in my life with bigger balls in that sense of like that drive and like blasting through
The will.
the will. And the thing is, and this isn't, like, there's so much beauty in that duality of masculine femininity, and but this statement is, to me, it's not about men or women. It's just like having balls.
The
Like,
concept.
I-
Yeah.
I have the stamina, I have the ambition, I have the drive, the will, and the goddamn way, and nobody's getting in my way. And I think that expression that's what it means to me, is that because I have had a lot of people tell me this too, because
Would you-
I am kind of like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I feel it. I'm going to do it.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go
No,
ahead.
you're
No,
good.
you get it.
When I think of that statement, I think of confrontations. And I think of more women getting confrontations than men do. Okay? Not necessarily in a negative way. Not necessarily in a negative way.
Can be,
But
though.
like if there's issues in like with, your receipt, or if you didn't like how someone talked to you. A lot more men are just gonna rub that stuff off and keep going. When a women will stand there and call you out. I see it'll happen a lot more, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. There's a lot of times I probably could say something. I'm just like, I'm not.
Everybody needs
Not
a
my
carry.
monkey, not my problem. You know what I could
Right.
just.
And I'm with you on that. Like, I'm not gonna tangle in some base bottom feeder shit. But if it's like someone of quality, like I'll tell you
Fuck, you
what
call me out all the time.
I'll tell you, because if I care about you, like, if you don't like me, that's cool, but it matters more to me that I tell you the truth that can help you to be a better person and help you get past your bullshit. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on, I do see that too, but I think that's, again, going back to like the distorted side of things.
Yes.
And that's not true having balls. That's honestly not even, what is the word I'm looking for? That's,
I
it's
got
right.
it.
But that's, it's not a positive thing.
What,
Go ahead.
confrontation? Go ahead, Evolution.
She's got balls bigger than most men.
Did you write it? Wait, did you write it down?
Heck yeah, I wrote that down. So basically, what I'm getting from this is courage, energy, or passion, and women are full of those things, and in a lot of scenarios, that's their strength. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna try to do a positive example of that, but right now I'm focused on a negative example of that because it's taking me back. You know what I'm saying? It's taking me back to.
I'm just here to focus on this.
I'll get to the positive, but I think this is relevant to get you to where I'm going. So there was an example where there was a possible dispute. I guess I'll say it like that, and the guys were like, calm down, just let's just go our way and get through this without causing any trouble. And the women were like just going, just nonstop. They were riled up and speaking their mind, and of course, confrontation occurs, and usually it's the guys, right? So in this scenario that I'm bringing, so. Yes, the women in that scenario definitely had the bigger balls because they were speaking their mind and letting everybody know how they felt. They were unhappy about something and were expressing their thoughts. And the guys were like, when you express your thoughts, that's cool, but it's gonna make me, defend the situation, right? So there ends up being a fight, and the women are just kind of on the sideline unless they're scrapping too. But in that scenario, the bigger boss statement is they don't hold back. You're gonna hear what I have to say, right? And then in most men in those scenarios are like, hey, I'm trying to keep the peace here. Let's just make the best of tonight. And they're like, no, they're
That's
gonna.
balls too, though.
What's that?
That's balls too, though.
Yeah, absolutely,
The
absolutely.
masculine showing up to be like, I think we're a little going off.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that's having balls. I'm just gonna insert that.
Got it. So thank you for that. And that's kind of like the negative type of view that I wanted to, kind of establish where I'm going. So the positive part of that is I've been in scenarios where it's like more of a business, or job environment, and I want to say something, but I don't want to offend the person I'm trying to make the transaction with. And then the woman is like, no, we need to talk about this, because it's important. They need to know where we stand on this issue so that we can handle this now and go from there. This is important to us. We need to, speak our minds on this. And that's where I think the balance, kind of like the yin and yang factor, kicks in, because that's the uniqueness between men and women. You know, we have our strengths, we work together, we fuse, right? So there are moments where men want to just kind of like listen and pay attention to the facts, but the women want to stress or point out the particulars, right?
Right.
So we work together. You know, there's moments where the women do have the bigger balls because that's how they're built, right? And then there's moments where we have the bigger balls, and it's usually physical, but the woman's balls are usually mental. That's what I got.
I agree. I agree with that. Rofiki, you haven't touched on this one yet.
So I actually made a comment to our daughter at dinner. So like she's fearless, dude. I mean, she comes off as fearless in her friend group anyway. And whenever there's a confrontation with her friends or whatever, she's just like she'll call people out to a point where you're like, dude, like if I were the person receiving that comment
Have
from
some
you,
tact.
you know, it's like I'm surprised you don't have a black eye or like a broken finger right now or like a missing shoe, you know, because some of the shit that she does,
Missing shoe.
like, damn, dude, like you have some fucking balls on you, and she does. She's a Leo through and through and a lion. Like it's just dope. Like just seeing that come through, where she's like,
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of anything. Like, what are they going to do? You
Mhm.
know, but at the same time, it does. We've seen it come out where it could be potentially harmful for her or her self image too. It will like taking the fall for somebody because she's like, what, you know,
Right.
and she does that just because it's around that age where like you kind of take one for the team, or like you'll take a hit for your friends, or like you'll take the fall for your friends because you're worried about them getting suspended or some shit, and we're just like, oh, okay, you know. So I just like, there's been so many times where like people wanted to fight her or whatever, and I'm like, girl, like you're savage, and I know that you'd end up like ripping the weave out of somebody's hair that I saw in Florida. Swear, dude, I was in 7th grade and I watched this white girl just rip out this weave from another girl's hair, and I was like, I'm not gonna mess with these girls, but I'm gonna be friends with them because that's honestly what saved me. I was the only white kid in an all ethnic neighborhood. I think that's the right way to put that. But um,
You just offended
they
me.
like I was the you know, short, chubby, fat white kid. And it was these people that protected me against, you know, the harms of everyone else. And I'm like, that's ballsy. I couldn't do that. So sometimes it's better to have people that have bigger balls than you, regardless of who it is, you know,
Yeah.
because they're not afraid to say anything, you know, because women will just be like, what are you gonna do? Hit me?
Right.
What are you gonna do? Exactly. And I'm like, fuck. So that's just kind of like, that's my take on it, is like we see our kids these days that are like, you know, my son, he's just trying so many crazy cool things. You know, like one day he's like, I want to do a photo shoot with a skateboard when he was 5, and he's never skateboarded before. So he just went and grabbed one and just picked it up like as we're in the photo shoot. And I'm like, this kid's got balls, because there's no way I would do that. Like, I'm like, I need planning and preparation. I got to stretch because I'm old, you know?
Problem pushing anyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the balls are bigger than they need to be too. Because I know I've tried skateboarding recently, and I hurt. I'm old. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I
can't do that
hurt.
anymore.
Well, here's the thing about that whole statement. I don't think it's about like if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I think in certain instances, it's how you use that power.
Yeah.
It's how you use that anger or that force. If you have that fire burning in you, if you're using it for negative just because you have balls, if you're using it to put someone down, to feed into negativity, to feed into other things, that's, you might have balls in the sense of courage and like you can approach people, but I'm going to go back to the aligned thing. Like if you're not aligned and you're spewing out all this negativity, like I'm totally with you on the fact that like, yes, women absolutely are going to be more like fly off the handle. In my experience too, where you're just like, oh, do you really need to make a scene here? Does this really, that's not balls to me. That's distorted scarcity and fear showing up in the physical form. That is not true balls.
Mm.
When you have balls, it's like, to me, because I frame everything through positive light, is like, yeah, you're courageous, but you're aligned in what you're fighting for, in what
Mhm.
you're speaking up for. You're
Mhm.
like, I don't care that 100 people that I'm about to walk into the room to don't agree with me. I know that this is real and this is true, and I've got that conviction again.
Mhm.
And so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go in and say what I need to say
Mhm.
to unload it from myself, but it's for the good. It's for the betterment.
Right.
Mhm.
That is what, like, true having balls to me. But there can be you have balls, but you're distorted and like causing all this chaos and negative things.
Mhm.
Or
Right.
you have balls for the positive. So are
Absolutely.
your balls negative or are they positive, people?
Isn't there supposed to be a negative and positive on everything?
Yeah,
You
we have a
do.
positive and a negative.
That's why you have
That's
two
what we have
balls.
too. Positive and negative.
Are you coming through your positive
Get your
balls
balls
or your
aligned.
negative?
That's too funny.
Your balls are out of alignment. You need to go in for an oil change.
Evolution,
We
did you get
got-
all three? You got all 3 years, didn't you?
No, I actually got one more, but I think we're good, man. I think
Yeah,
this has been great.
I was gonna say, man, we're hitting an hour and
We
35
added like
minutes.
5 more to the mix, but yeah, we're gonna peace out.
Yeah.
No, I agree. This has been great. I appreciate both of you for coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So for
This is
our
fun.
outro, I'm gonna say just a few things and
Okay.
then tell people where to find us. So one, thank you for surviving 100% of your worst moments. So selfishly, you could show up for me, right, today. We only have good days. Bad moments happen on good days, but it's still a good day.
Mhm.
So thank you for doing that. And you can find me on social media at Brofiki, Brofiki, and then the Natalia Rose everywhere on social media as well. You can find us. We talk a little bit about a lot of stuff.
A little bit about
Individually.
everything. Talia, thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah,
It's
thank you so much.
been a
It's
lot of
been
fun.
great. Got a lot of got a lot of great response off of your efforts. So
Did that really just happen?
Was it?
I responded to you and my watch said, that's what I thought. Anyway,
Well,
glad to be
Evolution, man, I think this is the first episode where we didn't get through all of ours, but it's been a
yeah,
hell of a show.
yeah. I think even though we didn't get through everything, of course we'll push it back to the next one.
Yeah, of
But
course.
so you won't miss it completely, just for now.
Exactly.
All right.
But I think everything was great that's been brought forth by everyone,
Agreed.
and I'm happy with how it turned out.
Agreed. Hey, again, one more time. Everybody who's made it an hour and 37 minutes through this with us, thank you for sticking around and listening to the show.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we got a lot more coming to JG's Lounge, so we appreciate all of you. And until next time, this is consistently inconsistent, not
Inconsistently
inconsistent.
consistent.
And until next time, everybody, we'll see you around.
Take care.